A smiling faces, an earth-like star. A frown can't bring out the beauty that you are. Love within you begin smiling. There are bright days ahead. Mm. Don't mess your face up with bitter tears, 'cause life is gonna be what it is. It's okay, just don't delay from smiling. There brighter days ahead. What's my part? Bum 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 bum. Ba-dum, boom, diddy, boom. I'm gonna stop right there because actually my content is probably not nothing that a lot of people want to hear and they don't want to smile about. But I just want to say, first and foremost, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Welcome to the Mental House with your host, Khadijah. Hi, how y'all doing today? This is another video that I really wanted to address a little, what you say, a little comment that I really want to address. I want to address my brother Snoop Dogg, and I want to actually make an opinion that I'm glad that he said what he said about what's his name, the ex-governor of California, Arnold, the black nigger, right? Ain't that what that means? Schwartz, black, the nigger, Schwartz, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Um, and what he said about uh him pardoning his friend's um, sentence. A friend of his son, a friend of Arnold Schwarzenegger's son was in jail, and I guess about some manslaughter. I really don't know all the facts and the tangibles other than I don't know the case. That's what I should say. And Snoop was kind of highly upset that the governor allowed the guy all out of his jail sentence and pardoned him pretty much and let him out. And Tookie was executed. And when the execution came, when Arnold Schwarzenegger could have stopped it, and he allowed Tookie to be put to death. You know, and for that I agree with uh, uh, Snoop Dogg 110%. I gotta say this because I'm a little upset, so I have to make sure I calm down. You know, once we stop expecting to be treated um, fairly, we should be, of course, in our blood, sweat, and tears. But automatically, you should know and you should put on the armor like I'm gonna have to go to battle with these people because what is not even talked about at all is the fact that Tookie Williams did win a Nobel Peace Prize. Nobody said anything about letting Tookie out of jail. He could have remained the rest of his life sentence. He could have stayed in jail. But the fact that somebody could go into jail and could have had that much history because of the conditions that you created, and I'm not saying that he had to fall prey to them, certainly not, but you had him where he was supposed to be for all the crimes that he committed, which was jail. Okay, but he was on death row and he was sentenced to die. Well, anytime somebody changes their life to a degree where they are writing children's books, uh, doing positive work to the point where my goodness, you can see the effects on the streets. You can see uh, uh, the reference of Tookie and what the effect that he's having on the children from reading the books and from a jail cell. And instead of you allowing him to just live the rest of his days out in jail as a lifer, Arnold Schwarzenegger decided to execute him. And that is thus the rage you saw from Snoop Dogg. And again, I'm just going to say I agree with you 1,000%. I sit here and watch all these people, whether they're 90 and damn near can't walk. Some of them are 100 years old, and America got the nerve to bring them in for war crimes that they were committed. Some of these people that were officers in the concentration camps. But nobody wants to be responsible for the Holocaust and the extermination of black people. And nobody wants to share the wealth that they built off the backs of black people. And it just lets you know that you're sitting in a whole hypocritical melting pot. So it's like either the control group is going to get real about how they acquired their wealth. We're going to have to get real about how we're going to disperse this wealth, because the sons and the daughters are no longer going to continue to be quiet and not have any wealth, continue to have you talk about us and create social engineered conditions that affect us, no longer want to be used as your guinea pigs. After you come in our house and stole all our wealth, and then have the nerve to put us in a situation where even if we do change our life around and go to the highest pinnacle of self-reflection to get a Nobel Peace Prize, it doesn't deserve a warrant or stay of execution. It deserves execution. But nobody's executing this United States government for all the murder and all the blood that's dripping from her hands. It's such a mind-boggling situation. So I really wanted to make a comment. I know I'm all over the place with that because as I was talking, I was just thinking about Tookie. And, I know what Tookie did, and I know what Tookie represents for a lot of people is just repulsive. But I contend is no more repulsive, and is, in fact, it's only a drop in a bucket compared to the repulsiveness that most people of color have to deal with when they're dealing with an oppressed condition and oppressed society, and when you have other people coming in, running your family, your school system, your police department, everything about you is just pretty much led by the oppressor. I mean, when I go and see these Chinatowns and Koreatowns and Little Havanas, Miami, I mean, where the little Cuba, where the Cubans have actually carved out a section for themselves. Whereas the little Africa, in fact, if you even try to do something like that, you would probably have the control group as so much up in arms because they would try to kick it in and turn up the COINTELPRO, because it is not feasible as far as this society is concerned for black people to show any type of unity amongst each other. That's why I said that we don't have to sing Kumbaya, but we're going to have to figure out a way economically, because you got to remember, money is the oppressor's god. They worship money. So we're going to have to figure out a way to keep our money in our community longer than 6 hours. We're going to have to learn how to keep Jewish people keep their money in their communities like 18 days. In fact, they give the tithes they give is the 10% of their money over to Israel. The tithes we give is to the preacher man at our church that turn around and give it to a bank, and the bankers that turn around and continue to make laws and infrastructures and things to oppress us. So your own money is being used for your own captivity. Follow the money. And the preacher, just like Margaret said, ain't nothing new. Just like Margaret Sanger said, we can use these black preachers to uh, talk their congregation of black women into killing their babies, and we'll use the black preacher. Just like FEMA decides that when the emergency disaster comes, let's pull out the black preacher because he will definitely lead his people the way we want him to. Whenever you know that that's the role that your preacher served, then it will behoove you to get from up under that thought process, because you should be looking at the preacher side eye. Does he really work for you, or does he work for your oppressor? And all I know is this: Arnold Schwarzenegger, in my mind, is a low down, dirty dog. Not only for what he did to his wife with the maid, the housekeeper, and all that kind of trash, and have the nerve to act like he is some kind of moral compass for somebody. But the worst is the fact that he used to flex muscles with Tookie on the beach. The fact that he knew Tookie, the fact that he even talked with him and admired Tookie for his weightlifting and his bodybuilding and his physique, knowing that he had some type of uh how do you say, communication with this brother on some level, and now as the governor, you have a chance to stay this guy's execution, to take him off death row and just let him serve out a life sentence. You decide to take it further and allow him to get executed. And you want to know why Snoop Dogg and the rest of the community feel like you a jerk? Ugh. Not only for what you did to your wife, because that's your personal madness, but what Snoop Dogg said, it was totally correct. You're an asshole. Nothing changes that. Nothing changes that. So I just wanted to make that comment about uh, the former governor of California, because he really, 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 really had to be checked. And you did a wonderful job, Stu. you did a wonderful job, because I always say it's more room out than in. Get it out. Now, see y'all next time in the mental house.